Mazz and I love beating you over the head with the Chiefs because you're so sensitive about it, and I think come from such a bad place, and the caterwauling this time of year is very entertaining to me. And so I love just holding the scoreboard up over your head and exposing you for the children that you are when it comes to this. It's really with the Patriots sucking, this is really like a
sweet spot. Exercise and annoyance?
It's like a staple. Yeah, it's really something to hang our hat on.
Oh, it's a sweet spot.
It is. It's
hitting it pure.
And so getting to go to the Super Bowl and do it again for another 2 weeks like that I'm looking forward to that, or I would be. However, I got the Bills this week. I think Josh Allen, I think the Bills are going to do it this year.
Feels that way.
And I just feel that way because I think KC's been playing it way too close to the opponent. Like they've just been playing to the opponent the entire year and pulling games out of their ass, and not just Mahomesian games, blocked field goals, like missed field goal nonsense. You know, they've been their margins have been way too short, way too small. And they've been playing with fire, and I think it's going to burn them this week, and I think they'll be done this week. And with it, my ability to beat you over the face with a wet noodle named the Kansas City Chiefs.
Unless
the moist sausage of the Kansas City Chiefs will be not at my disposal after this Sunday, I believe. Unless what?
Unless the Chiefs win.
Unless I'm wrong, and then they win, and then you get 2 weeks of getting beaten about the face with the wet, moist sausage of the Kansas City Chiefs. But anyway, in the event they lose, I'm getting it in now because I won't get to do it next week. So
preemptive strike.
So I gave you yesterday the thought that Travis Kelce is, if not surpassing Rob Gronkowski, certainly right up against him when it comes down to the only thing that we should care about, which is producing championships, playoff wins, producing for his quarterback, and producing playoff wins and championships. I did short Rob Gronkowski yesterday because I was doing it on the fly. I forgot to mention Rob Gronkowski's Super Bowl appearance and win with Tampa Bay.
Oh, right.
I shorted him one. And I think I left out 2011. When you lost to the Giants, he was on that team too.
Correct.
Obviously. Yeah. So I think now...
Albeit he was hurt. But
he was hurt, but he played. And I don't know how effective he was in that game.
Not really.
But be that as it may, Rob Gronkowski then made 5 Super Bowls, won 3 of them. Travis Kelce's made 4, won 3. So I just that was my fault. Anyway. Andy Reid, Bill Belichick. Where do you stand on this one?
Believe it or not, I'm Belichick. It's close, and Reid's closing in, but right now, still Belichick. If you were asking me at their peak, at their prime, one coach, Super Bowl, who am I taking? I'm taking Belichick. But, correct me if I'm wrong, Andy Reid gave him fits head-to-head. Head-to-head gave him fits.
So I've just been looking up all sorts of numbers. I don't have that one, but proceed.
Okay, so look, I lean Belichick on that one. But again, Reid's not quite there yet. He's getting there. It's close. But Bill's, resume to me is better. And in the big games, he was a reliable game planner. I mean, they were in every single game, basically. Obviously, won more than their share. I still lean Belichick on that one.
Fits with Kansas City, maybe not. Definitely not with the Eagles.
True.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I would go Bill too, because I can't get the past with Andy Reid out of my mind. Like, some of the ghoulish clock decisions and time management in some of these games. And credit, like he got that Eagles team as far as he could, and they were going up against a juggernaut Patriots team of that era. But some of that Eagles stuff I still hold against him. But he's great with the offense and the innovative things he's done in terms of scheming things up offensively. He's a good quarterback guru. He got the best out of Mike Vick when he ended up going to Philadelphia around 2010. So there's a lot he does great. But head-to-head, if I had to pick one, I'm going to go Bill.
So me too, just from watching it so closely over the years. But anyone who just looks at the record, who looks at the historical record, without having watched the games, every minute of it, I think you'd have a hard time putting Bill Belichick ahead of Andy Reid. And you know what? The tiebreaker for me is what you do without the quarterback.
Right.
What you do without the all-timer. Because all these coaches, like we play this game with all these coaches. Well, what was Bill Walsh without Joe Montana? And what was Don Shula without this guy? What was Tom Landry without Roger Staubach and blah 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 blah, which is like true. So it's like all these coaches put up big numbers when they have all-time quarterbacks. So then, how do we define them? How do you separate them? Because they're all just sort of at the mercy of how good their quarterbacks were. So you look at what they do without their quarterbacks. Andy Reid. Okay, Andy Reid, by the way, I'll start here. Andy Reid, with that victory on Saturday, is now at 300 career wins, regular season playoffs. 300.
Combined, right.
He is now 33 behind Bill Belichick. Belichick's at 333. Andy Reid's at 300. George Halas is second with 324, and Don Shula, of course, is first at 347. So Andy Reid, really, Maz, it's 3 years to catch Belichick.
Something like that.
2 if they really step on the gas. I mean, this year.
In 3, he'll pass Belichick relatively comfortably.
Right. And so he'll need 3 to for sure pass Bill. And then to pass Shula, we're talking 4 to 5.
He's going to need 12, 13 wins a year to get Shula.
Okay, but he's 3 years short of Bill.
Yep.
And really, if they step on the gas, he might get there in 2. If he wins 2 more games this year, he's at 302. That puts him 31 games behind. Can he win 15, 16 games the next 2 years, playoffs included? He just did. And he just gave one away in week 17.
Yep.
You got to factor that in. But either way, that's just interesting to note. But what did they do without Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady? We all know Bill's record. I'm just piecing together the number, but it's on billboards. I'm sure Murray has it tattooed on the inside of his ass.
I don't, but I don't know it off the top of my brain.
Jake in Boston, yeah. Carlton and Norwell. Are you still Carlton in Tampa?
It's a losing record.
Do you still like Carlton and Norwell? If you're still with us, but if you're not, I know that record is on your tombstone. I know that the Bill Belichick's record without Tom Brady is in his obit for sure. So just give me that number. Everyone knows it. Andy Reid, all time, is 300 and 162. Right?
Okay.
Bill Belichick is 333 and 188. I mean, there's tremendous records. But without Patrick Mahomes, and I just pieced this together, so if I'm off by 1 or 2, please help me out. Regular season and playoffs without Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid is 195 and 136. Without Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid has been to the playoffs 13 times. He has 11 playoff wins. He has 4 conference title games. He has 1 Super Bowl appearance. Without Tom Brady, Belichick has been to the playoffs once and lost the game, and that's it. Andy Reid, here are Andy Reid's quarterbacks outside of Patrick Mahomes. All these guys have started games for Andy Reid between Philadelphia and Kansas City. You ready?
Yes.
Doug Peterson, Donovan McNabb, Coy Detmer, A.J. Feely, Mike McMahon. I don't know who that is. Jeff Garcia, Kevin Cobb, Mike Vick, Vince Young, Nick Foles, Alex Smith, Chase Daniel, Nick Foles again. I just included him twice because he started for him in Philly and at least once in Kansas City. Matt Moore, Chad Henne, Blaine Gabbert, Carson Wentz. So, and some of those guys were just a game.
Right.
And maybe Andy Reid lost them. I didn't go back and looked at the records with all those quarterbacks. Maybe it's wretched. All I know is, without Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, 195 and 136, with 11 playoff wins, 4 conference title games, and an appearance in the Super Bowl. Bill Belichick without Tom Brady, 1 playoff season, no playoff wins. That's like a tiebreaker. But I'm still Bill over Reid. But I'm telling you, if you just dropped in from Planet Mars and went over their resumes, you'd be hard pressed. Andy Reid is 3 seasons short of catching Bill Belichick all-time wins. He's 66 years old. Andy Reid will be 67 in March, and in horrible shape. But if he just hangs in there, maybe make some lifestyle choices, he'll catch Bill. And he'll have a much better track record without the quarterback than Bill Belichick ever did. That's like tiebreaker stuff to me.
I mean, it's a good thing to look at. Here's what I would say that I would argue is in Bill's favor. If you're talking now head coach, overseeing the whole operation, Bill's a defensive guy who is still able to get the most out of his quarterback. Reid didn't win a Super Bowl until Steve Spagnuolo got there. So I would say that, from a tactical standpoint, Reid's the best offensive coach I've ever seen. But he needed a really strong defensive coordinator to get over the hump. He needed Patrick Mahomes, too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, one sort of necessarily works without the other. But Spagnuolo is going to get on as one of the great defensive coordinators of all time. Bill, is one with multiple offensive coordinators. He's shuffled guys in and out of there. And, again, the greatness of Brady's a factor. But I would put that check mark, however small it is, in Bill's favor.
I just did this math because I wanted to see that first 5 years he got in Kansas City before getting Mahomes. He was 53-27, mostly with Alex Smith. And this
incredible.
Yeah. I mean, these are seasons that just must make you hot, Mike. 11-5, making the playoffs, maybe winning a game. But that's with Alex Smith. And even though I'm, somewhat doing this mockingly, there is something to be said about that. He's not bottoming out. Alex Smith, you got the most out of him, and this is where he's a quarterback guru. This is the best, check mark I think you can give to Andy Reid over Belichick.
Based on this story I'm looking at on some website, Belichick's record without Brady is 84-103.
So whatever that number is, 84-103.
It's a .449 winning percentage without Brady.
The Andy Reid record without Mahomes that I just came up with, regular season and playoffs, 195-136. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't impress you teams that win without the stud quarterback?
No, it does for a time. I mean, if I was a fan of that team, after 5 or 6 years, something has to change. And for the Chiefs, it did. They found Mahomes. But that is impressive. With Alex Smith, who I think is a game manager's game manager, that record, again, was over that first 5 years, 53-27, making the playoffs, got to the divisional round a couple of times. That is impressive.
I mean, so what? I don't know how else to judge the great coaches.
No, it's a fair thing to look at.
Because it's what did Walsh do? Everyone plays this game. What did Tony Dungy do without Peyton Manning? What did Bill Belichick do without Tom Brady? What did Bill Walsh do without Joe Montana? What did Tom Landry do without Roger Staubach and Roger Staubach? He actually went to an NFC title game with Danny White. Yeah, but either way, I mean, everyone does this thing. What was Chuck Noll without Terry Bradshaw? Don Shula, I always gave him credit for going to the Super Bowl with Don Strock and David Woodley. That to me is coaching. That's good coaching. Winning a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. I think Doug Peterson did a great job that year. What else do you judge? It's anyone, we're finding out, a lot of coaches can win with Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Montana, da-da-da-da-da.
Including Bruce Arians.
So then what are you without him? Give me another way to judge the coach. And Andy Reid does laps around Bill Belichick when it comes to this. Circles around him.
He's the best offensive coach in the history of the league.
He just might be.
He is. I mean, I don't even think it's really. I shouldn't say it's undebatable because Walsh was a revolutionary. There were certainly other guys that would be in the conversation, but this guy's ability to just plug and play quarterbacks and get wins and keep it going, and the creativity and the potency of all those offenses, to me, it's Reid.
Andy Reid just stays healthy. He's catching Bill. Shula, 5 years.
He could do it in 4.
You got to drop some weight.
You need 48 wins. He can get that in 4 years. That's 12 a season. Bill averaged that when he was here.
You're right, 12 a season. That's it.
Yeah, so he could do it in 4.
He just has to make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just has to stay in the game.
Yeah. He's got to lose about 10 pounds a year.
I said, well, love and respect in my heart. You just got to, you can't be that out of shape and make it. You just.
Not at 66. That's how old he is.
He turned 67 in March. It's
67, 68, 69, 70. He better get it in 4 years because after 70, he's toast.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.